Ladies and gentlemen, we kindly request your attention. The program is now commencing, and we hope that all attendees are prepared to ensure an uninterrupted program. We kindly ask you to refrain from causing any disruptions. Thank you for your cooperation. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to everyone who attended our program today. First, I am delighted to introduce to all of you our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Amirul Rafiq. And we are very proud to introduce him as one of our UITM Segamat alumni. Also, a very good morning to all of our beloved lecturers from UITM, and at last to all of my colleagues who are currently studying at various UITM campuses. This program is a joint collaboration between Students and Alumni Supports Unit, Kolej Pengajian Pengkomputeran Informatik dan Media, Unit Alumni Bahagian Penyelidikan, Jaringan Industri dan Alumni, and Perpustakaan Tun Dr. Ismail, UITM Segamat. Hello, my name is Danish Hazim bin Muhammad Zahirul Faiza, and I will be your moderator for today's program. Well, in today's program, we will actually discuss about navigating success and crafting a path in the data-driven landscape. We hope that all of you find this program informative and useful. Our aim in this program is to provide undergraduate students with the tools to design their career paths after completing a diploma or degree and become successful in their chosen field. Before we begin the program, can we all please raise our hands and recite our dua together? I would like to invite Zahid Hakimi to lead our dua today.
First of all, I will gently ask all the audience to raise our hand and together amin the dua. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد صلاة تنجينا بها من جميع الأهوال والآفات وتكللنا بها من جميع الحاجات وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا بها عندك أعلى الدرجات وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. Ya Allah, Ya Fa'alu lima yurid. We express our gratitude to you for allowing us to attend the data-driven landscape talk on this auspicious morning. Ya Allah, we ask you for the safety of our religion and the welfare of our body. Oh Allah, Lord of the implementing authority, make the days that we've gone through, starting with your mercy, continue with your blessing, and ended with thy forgiveness. And also, make the days that we've gone through with guidance and end with the victory of excellence. Ya Allah, Ya Muhaymin, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, let our efforts as a means to enlighten and convince ourselves that the personal safety of either outer or inner as a prerequisite for achieving happiness and excellence in various fields. O Allah, grant us faith and strength in order to face the challenges of life during the transition period and in the face of life in this new millennium. Ya Allah, Ya Farijul Ham, wa Ya Kashifal Gham. Show us guidance and adjust our path and ways to achieve happiness and glory. Let us listen to people who like the good things. Let us avoid doing the bad and evil things. Oh Allah, bless our life in this meeting and gathering and prevent us from harm and unfortunate events. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. والله منكم.
Amin, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Thank you, Zahid, for the dua just now. Before we actually dive into today's topic, allow me to introduce our speaker, Dr. Amirul Rafiq. Dr. Amirul Rafiq, or his full name is Dr. Muhammad Amirul Rafiq Abu Rahim, a distinguished researcher and expert in applied statistics. Dr. Amirul holds a PhD in Applied Statistics from University Malaya, alongside an MSc Master in Science in Philosophy of Mathematics and Ethnomathematics from University Putra Malaysia. He received his degree in Statistics from University Technology Mara and also earned his diploma in Quantitative Sciences from University Technology Mara. Currently, Dr. Muhammad Amirul Rafiq holding a position as a research associate at Khazanah Research Institute in Kuala Lumpur since July 2016. He focuses on quantitative and policy-driven analysis, particularly in areas such as the labor market, youth transition from school to work, education, and training. This journey underscores his versatility and proficiency in both public and private sectors, showcasing a commitment to leveraging research for social and economic development. Dr. Amirul Rafiq also has been in a lot media coverage, interviews, and articles. For an example, he's been in a BFM podcast back in July 2023 where he talked a topic about can we future-proof jobs for the AI era. And another example is from Utusan News, which back in January 2023, where he talks about cabaran pasaran buruh graduan baharu. And although there is more to this, I will only mention a few examples. As a speaker himself, he does have a lot of experience as a speaker and panelist, whether it was an external or internal invite. Well, that was just a brief summary of his background, and we are all glad to have him with us today. Now, I'll be starting today's program with my first question to Dr. Amirul. This question is, Dr. Amirul, regarding your background, could you briefly share your current role at Khazanah Research Institute and how it actually relates to your educational background? Additionally, what inspired you to pursue a career in this field, and what could you reflect on your journey so far? Please, Dr. Amirul.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and thank you Danish for your introduction just now. Yang saya hormati Puan Zuriati Ismail, the Head of Students and Alumni Support Unit in KPIM, lecturers and students in College Pengajian Perkomputeran Informatik dan Matematik, Unit Alumni Bahagian Penyelidikan dan Jaringan Industri, Perpustakaan Tun Datuk Ismail, and also those who are participating at the session today. First and foremost, I think I should express my thanks to the team for extending the invitation to me. I think it is truly an honor for me to be here today to contribute to this important event, especially having I would say this is a full circle moment for me of being part of UiTM alumni, and it is indeed wonderful to reconnect and collaborate with these bright minds here today. I hope that this can be a fruitful session between both of us, and feel free to ask any questions. Inshallah, I will try my best to answer. Moving back to your question just now, Danish, in terms of my career background, right? As you correctly mentioned in the introduction, I currently work at Khazanah Research Institute, where I serve as research associate within the research division since 2016. So at KRI, my role mainly revolves around quantitative analysis, where I churn the data, I utilize the data to a policy-driven analysis. So my focus area is so far is on the labor market analysis. I'm also looking into the youth transition from school to work, where I look into the intersection between the career trajectory of our young people after their graduation. And also I'm looking into this issue on youth and graduate employability. Now, tying back my career and to my educational journey, right? You might notice a thread of statistics running through it. I have a PhD in applied statistics. I just graduated. I passed my Viva last year in applied statistics, and I have bachelor degree in statistics. Um, I have diploma in quantitative science from my beloved UiTM Segamat. So I think this my background mostly makes me essentially being armed with the tools that can help me to deep dive into data, and this sharpened my skill sets into my ability to utilize the tools that I have that I learned from the universities for the purpose of policy-driven analysis. So, as for what inspired me to pursue for this career for career for this in this field, right, as a researcher looking into a policy-driven analysis that specifically looking into this labor market perspective, it is essentially a combination of factors. Firstly, if I can share, it is actually mostly my passion on understanding about the pressing issue of the society, and I really love looking into the dynamics and also I'm aiming to making a tangible impact to address the societal issues that have been pressing in our society in our country. And secondly, it mostly because of my exposure during my academic years to various kind of statistical techniques and also on research methodology, and these are all spark my interest in using data to inform decision analysis. And reflecting to my journey so far, my educational background, my few years of experience, of working experience from early days, I've started my career as a research executive in a very small company's business consulting firm, where I look into the KPI measurement analysis, and also looking into customer satisfaction more towards business analytic and customer satisfaction indexes. So this set to my current role as a researcher, and this also sparked into my interest where I really wanted to deep dive into the data-driven analysis and policy analysis. So I have this the opportunity to contribute to a meaningful research project and engage with policymakers, and I hope that my contribution could essentially can give some positive and significant impact to the area that I'm venturing into. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Doctor, for the very good response. I believe that your contribution would be give a good impact to all of us in the near future, of course. And I'm actually quite fascinated that you studied in different universities. Well, I have a questions regarding this matter. As an alumnus of three universities, UITM, UPM, and UM, could you please share your learning experiences at each of these institutions? Please, Doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. Each of my academic journeys at UITM, UPM, and UM has been unique, and I think it is enriching in its own way. I started my undergraduate years at UITM. This is where I laid the foundation for my academic and professional growth. I think the my personal experience talking to many academics, right, from different institutions, they have mentioned that someone, if you are graduated from UiTM with statistic background, that means you are actually being armed with this very sophisticated or sufficient knowledge on or skill set in statistics. I'm quite proud with that. Well, I think it more towards in good things of studying in UiTM is because of the curriculum, not just because of the curriculum itself. I think because of the environment, the supportive environment that I've gained throughout my studies, and the practical experience I gained through the projects and also internship through the internship that we have undergone through during the degree time, um, uh, further sharpen my skill set in this area. And moving towards on UPM, right, where I continue my master's degree in philosophy of mathematics and ethnomathematics. Not to I advise you um, um, not to so impressed with the name because that was just an area that I'm looking into on how is the existence or the intersection between mathematics and the philosophy of mathematics and statistics. So this, for me, this is more towards looking into interdisciplinary program, where I feel that statistic alone is not enough. I feel that those years, I feel that it is important for me to learn beyond the statistic throughout the applications. So this is where I explore the philosophical underpinnings of mathematics and its cultural significance. To be honest, it was a very tough, thought-provoking experience, and it broadened my perspective into appreciating the knowledge and the beauty of diversity and diversity of mathematics insight. And during my PhD journey at UM, I continued my PhD program only after I've about 8 to 9 years of experience, working experience. So this is where I focus to enhance my understanding in a very specific area that is closely related to my current job. So I specifically delve into the issue of school to work transition for our young people. So I look into the intersection between the issues on overqualification, low starting pay, as well as wage discrimination. And of course, this research area has been a passion of mine. And I think by pursuing a PhD, it is important for me to pursue this PhD because I wanted to have this skill set on looking into a perspective of academic robust, and also allow me to deep dive into a complex issue within the surrounding of academic area. So that's why I mentioned each stage of my education path provide a very unique experience of its own ways, in the sense that every each step, right, from degree, from diploma to degree to my first job, that was essentially where I directly apply the skill set that I have from my degree level. And then from that 2 years of experience, it sparked my interest into to look into more intersection. What is the application? What is more that I can apply the statistic in this area? And then when I quite stable in terms of the area that I wanted to look into, that is where I feel that it's important for me to look into interdisciplinary area. So that's why I pursue my master's in philosophy of mathematics with an application of statistic insight. And then after I've been 7 to 8 years of having working experience, then I land into my specific area of interest. Then only I pursue my PhD. So yeah, I hope this answer your question.
All right, that actually answers a lot of the questions. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the audiences would actually inspired by the stories that you've told us, where from you've been to UiTM Sigamat, you're like one of the students in UiTM Sigamat, and then you pursue studies to degree and then to master in UPM, and currently now you're holding a PhD, which you've got your PhD in University Malaya. Um, I would actually like to ask like about the career path and like adaptation, key competencies, and field prospects. Could you, Doctor, could you like share to us like examples of successful career paths within the data-driven industry, and emphasize the importance of continuous learning and adaptation in staying relevant in this rapidly evolving landscape? Yes, Doctor.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that question. I think before I dive into answering to your question just now, I just wanted to emphasize on I think that is closely related to what I will be answering hereafter. In terms of working trajectory, right? Career trajectory. So
Yeah,
if you so we recently published our recent report looking into the career progression of our young graduates and experienced graduate. So the purpose of this study is to look into what consequences of you will be getting in if you start your first job or your initial job with unfavorable outcome. So what is the outcome in the next 5 to 10 years if you started your career in a very low starting pay, in a underemployed jobs. So the usual convention, right, from literature in other countries have shown that it doesn't matter if you, after graduation, if you are doing some sort of jobs that require a low qualification or require or you can secure a very low salary starting pay, right? So it will compound and it will give you essentially for the next 3 to 4 years that you can catch up with your peers at the same in your same cohort. But in our case, right, in Malaysian context, the effect is actually not that good, because if you start with wrong starting point, that means if you start with, let's say, if you have a degree in mathematics, then you work in a job that just only requiring diploma level or even SPM level, it will not provide you a good foundation for your career prospect. So it can be as worse as 30% of your it will be as worse as reducing 30% of your income prospect in future. So that means we strongly emphasize in our context, our graduates, yeah, despite we acknowledge that we don't have enough jobs for graduate and and whatnot, but it is important for you to aim for the job that is requiring your degree, and also getting the right getting the right starting point with a good starting pay, because this will compounding and will essentially helps into your career prospect in future. And goes back to your question just now in terms of
yes,
the career path for this data science, right?
yes, Doctor.
Data science related. So to be honest, I'm not a computer science background, in a computer science background, and those who are studying statistics, especially in UiTM, are heavily on application. So I must say that a lot more things I need to learn even after graduation. I'm thankful that UiTM provided me a very good foundation in terms of looking into things, how to read data, how to interpret numbers. But in this, when you venture into the real world, right, there's so many things that you need to uh, learn by your own, right?
Yeah,
So I think in terms of the challenge for me last time back in 2010, 2011 after graduation, right? The challenge for me is that to keep up with the skill sets that what computer science students have, right? I need to learn algorithm. I need to learn R. I need to learn a Tableau and what sort. But I would say myself as fortunate enough because the company that I worked before, my very first company last time provided me a very good allocation for training. So from that, I keep up in terms of the skill set on trying to applying my skill set into a various kind um, of software and the platform. So from data-driven industry, right? Of course, now it is growing and it offers a very much of exciting career path for individual, especially for those who are in computer science background, like all of you, right? But you have to have this in mind. Um, Computer science related skill set is not important. Is not Is important, but it is more important for you to have some sort of analytical and problem solving skill set. So I think you know this, right? The job prospect for computer science student would encompass through data science analysts or business and intelligence specialists or data engineers. And the opportunities now are so diverse. It's not just locally, but also in abroad, right? So one of the notable example of successful career path within the data-driven industry is that being a data scientist. And by talking about successful career path, right? Um, I think our the government or our policy document have put strong emphasis for our graduates to not just looking into a full-time jobs tie with companies or makan gaji, right? We have this term in
Yeah.
Indonesia, makan gaji, right? So the policy has strongly encourage our graduates to go for entrepreneurship. But again, in our study, we also emphasize that if you want to go for entrepreneurship, you should ensure that this entrepreneurship thing is something that is meaningful in the sense that could create more jobs and for you to and the kind of business that you are doing can provide a meaningful success for you. For example, could provide high salary, could provide high chances for you to expand the business. So what we see from the data that we had, right? The graduates have seen this entrepreneurship as a temporary measure for them before they get permanent jobs. So that means major chunk of our graduates are still looking into this makan gaji type of job. But yeah, this is just the challenge for you to balance up between habis belajar to get jobs and habis
Mhm.
belajar to get meaningful jobs and habis belajar to also having a very good trajectory, a job that can give you a good job trajectory, right? So this
Yeah.
is also something that we consider in terms of looking into this career projection for our graduates. So if you go for data scientists, right? I have friends of mine who are doing some one program with MTech under GLOW program, right? So he did this GLOW program. So he is a data scientist by profession, but he finally decided from makan gaji to be an entrepreneur by himself. So he worked as a freelance doing this data scientist kind of program. And recently, he managed to secure a contract through this GLOW program, right? Secure this contract from one of the big companies abroad from UK, so he secured about 1.5 million projects in one particular project for 2 years contract. So this is where I think the emphasis of government's aspiration or vision to our graduates is not just for you to do this kind of those business yang just selling things, right? So you should sell your expertise, you should sell your skill set. So it provide you zero zero cost, right? Then you can get 100% return from it. So this is where the role of data scientist. Of course, if being a data scientist in a companies also provide you a huge opportunities, a great career growth as well. I also have one friend who previously studying of PhD in um, I think PhD in human science from Oxford, and he has 2 years after graduation. He worked with one of the universities as a lecturer. He stayed there for 2 years, and then he mentioned to me that he wanted to venture into this freelance work because he see that these opportunities. So now he work, but in turn he get one job as a job offer from this uh, data consulting as the country manager. So it's quite fortunate for him, I think, because he can secure this job as a country manager with from that young age. So this is where the opportunity of data science for you as a computer science student. And but I think again, the most important aspect here is it's not you just equipping yourself with the skill set as a computer science background. You have to have this skill set of problem solving. You also need to have this analytical thinking to solve things, right? Another career path that I think could give a good career prospect for you is business intelligence specialist. So nowadays, I think many companies have this business and intelligence department. So it leverage on the data visualization tools and ask you to transform raw data into a meaningful visualizations and report. And this can also in turn to help business strategies and drive the operational efficiencies. So again, like I mentioned earlier, your skill set as a computer science background student is not enough. You have to have a keen eye of detail understanding and a knack of storytelling skill set throughout the data. And then you can essentially help the businesses to advise on things related to the business strategy and what sort. And in this rapidly evolving landscape of labor market, right, it is important for you to have this continuous learning and adaptation mindset. So you cannot just rely with the skill set that what university gave you during your study. It's not sufficient. I'm not saying that university has not that capacity to do so. They have the capacity, but I think the role of university is to provide you the knowledge or the foundation, right? The ivory tower punya um, means is to provide you a basic foundational knowledge for you to survive. But the rest is actually belong to you, and there's impossible for university to do sort of permutation of 100,000 students to suit with what they were going to do after graduation. So that what I'm saying, the role of higher education is to provide you with this foundation or skill set that in turn would be useful for you for you to use after your graduation. And it is belong to you. It is also depending on you on how you wanted to utilize this foundational knowledge, and it is also your responsibility to equip or to make yourself adapt with what are the changing nature of our labor market.
Wow, okay. That was a very long explanation, Doctor. And yeah, I actually quite agree about the where skill sets for us that only have computer science is not enough, and we need more than just this, more than just computer skills. That's why we have to like probably like continue further studies in degree or even masters or PhD to gain more knowledge and to gain more skills, just not depends on the computer science itself. And it also actually like our responsibility to extend our skill sets too. Yes, I actually quite agree with that too. And about the starting about the wrong point, where if you start on the wrong point, it actually kind of disturbs the whole process of being uh, in your successful career. Doctor, there's a question from YouTube from Rakib Kamarudin. What do you think artificial intelligence or AI can impact the role of mathematicians in the near future? So, what do you
Um,
think, Doctor?
So yeah, absolutely. I think I will have this into discussion after this juga. The role of AI, right? AI is now expanding everywhere. So it's not just in for it's not just benefit for computer science student. It is also for statistics, for mathematics, for philosophical, for any kinds of field of study. But like I mentioned earlier, you have mathematics, skill set, right? So how you wanted to leverage this skill set is very important for you to know that a long life learning is very important. The skill set that universities provide you may not sufficient, will not be keep up with those computer science students that had those computer science, right? So of course we will see that, oh, computer science have this benefit in AI era, but it is not. For even for mathematician, it is a sort of huge opportunities for AI. For example, we do have this algorithm for mathematical induction on some mathematical research or observation. So I feel that AI is something that is growing, and it is not just specifically benefit for those who are having these computer science skill set or computer science degree students. Even for philosophical, even for other fields of study, have also been benefit for this growth of AI AI era. Yeah, I think I can discuss further after this about this.
Yeah, sure, Doctor. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Rakib Kamaruddin. And moving on to another questions about challenges, skill sets. Okay, um, what like specific tools or technologies or programming languages that should student prioritize in learning to succeed in data-driven roles? As far as I know, the data-driven role, as for science students, we learn like statistics top subject. That's as far as I know. But like, yes, what is the specific tools and technologies that we should um, prioritize, Doctor?
Um, so talking about specific tools, right? It depends because it evolve across time, right? But I think the technical skills that you have studied in university is already updated, but then you have to equip yourself, your proficiency in more other thing. I think the usual skill set in terms of the technical skills, the most common one would be Python, Python, R, SQL, right? So this is some of the quite common things. But just to share that, right? These are all quite interrelated. So if you know some kind of programming, for example, I use R for my master level. So I'm very beginner, and I don't have any experience in using R. But when I venture into R, it made me easier for me during my when I joined KRI, where I need to gone through a few others programming language like Python and SQL. So I feel that it is much more easier for me to understand the thing because I have that foundation in R. So don't worry in terms of the technicalities or in terms of the rapidly changing programming languages that are available in the market. But it is important for you to sharpen your foundation, your understanding on algorithm. This is also particularly important for those who are from a mathematics background, even from business background. If you have this skill set of understanding this algorithm, at least you have capacity in using R, so it would be very easy for you to explore some other knowledge in programming language, right? And how to gain this practical experience. So theory that we learn in the classroom is very important, but the practical experience is rather more important. So you cannot just rely with what you have learned in classroom. So you have to look for opportunities to apply your skill in real world settings throughout internships, throughout some other program, collaborative projects. So like I mentioned, why my friend, the first case I mentioned earlier, why he is really interested to do this freelance work in data science. It was mainly because he had this experience working with his friend doing PhD in Cornell University, and then he get paid. So he said, "Oh, this is kind of business for me." So he decided to go for freelancing freelancing kind of job, and doing things related to data science. So this is where he earned so much money, even better than those who are makan gaji. And of course, when we talk about makan gaji, we will concern about the social protection and whatnot. And that is actually something depending on your own, because if you feel that it is important for you to have saving, which is yes, it is important for you to have savings. So as much money as you get, you should have some saving, right? So I think looking into the perspective of social protection is important, but I think moving forward, the focus should be for you to gain a meaningful work, not just tie yourself with this the kind of job like I mentioned earlier, makan gaji.
Mhm.
Our recent findings, right? The internship program, I think the internship program should provide you a great platform for you to learn more, to explore more. Like we in KRI, we open our internship program throughout the years. Throughout the year, every year, we regardless of any period of time, we always accept students to go for internship. But unfortunately, for Malaysian case, right, among the Malaysian student, they are only considering internship is because of their study requirement. So when it is required for you to go for internship, then only they apply for internship at KRI. But we see that there's very significant attitude among those who are studying abroad, Malaysian who are studying abroad, they wanting to do internship in KRI, even in remote basis, not because of it's not because of the requirement of the degree itself. So they, even though someone who are just finishing their first semester from Harvard University, they decided to go for internship for 2 months during their summer leave, to go for just two months of internship at KRI. So when I asked why, they said that this is where for me to can this is a platform for me to find practical experience, which I feel that it can be very important, and it can be very it can benefit me in terms of my CV development, and also my skill set. So this is very important. You have to change your mindset. Don't use your semester break as a way for you to break to truly break or go for holiday, right? So you can go and find various kind of skill development out there. So if you happen to go for um, um one platform under SOCSO, or even HRD Corp, they provided various kind of courses that can benefit you, especially in data science. There's a lot of course there, and some are free. Even if you go for Coursera, right? Coursera have provided so many courses that is free for you. Even if there is certain cost for it, you can apply for scholarship. I've gone through a bunch of courses from Coursera. So this is where I think for me to professionally develop myself, even that with zero cost. So gaining a practical experience is important. So now so as I mentioned earlier, moving back to this practical experience, right? Our study have shown that your so do you have practical training for your for diploma in computer science,
Oh
Danish?
yes, we actually do in our next
Right?
semester.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's good. So our study have shown that unfortunately, this practical internship, right, that
Mm.
is something that is a must for you, right, to go for 3 to 6 months, provide a little impact for you for your employment outcome. But you must ensure that the practical experience, the practical training, the companies that you go for practical training is the right companies, and also you are doing the right kind of job. Then only it will provide a good employment outcome for you. So that means if you start, if you are from a computer science background, but you internship in the very small company. A small company is okay, but then the kind of job that you are doing is totally different from what you are studying. So that will provide you some deficiency or loss for your career prospect in future. So it is important for you to carefully look into the into your internship program. You must make sure that your internship program is somewhere for you are doing your internship program in MSC companies. In this, those are even if it's small companies, but it is really can apply your what you have learned in during your studies. And also you have to make sure that your internship need to be done in the companies that can provide you a very strong foundation in terms of the framework of your internship training itself. And like I mentioned earlier, when I decided to venture my master's study, right, I really looking into the interdisciplinary learning. I guess that is come across into my mind where I feel that statistic alone is insufficient for me. So I have to look somewhere. At least you have that sort of thinking to look into interdisciplinary learning from diverse area. And of course, in data science, a multidisciplinary is very important because the kind of data that you are going to analyze later would come from various domains. It could be from computer science, from mathematics, from statistics, and some other specific knowledge domains. So it is important for you to embrace this interdisciplinary learning. You cannot just stay um, in your bracket, right? You cannot just stay into bracket. So I'm doing computer science, I just doing programming. No, 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 no. You have to have this analytical thinking, the skill set, not to say is yeah, some other things lah.
Yes.
So this broadens your perspective into looking into things. Um, so as if I can share in my personal experience, right? I come from a background that purely in applied statistics. So, like I shared earlier, I venture into this applying some economic perspective for my research work. So these are among the challenges that prompt me to pursue this interdisciplinary learning to keep up in the demand for my work. So this is also important for you to have this in mind to pursue interdisciplinary learning, and of course, provide problem solving skills. So our research also have shown that our graduates ni sebenarnya tak ada problem. You don't have any problem in terms of the skill set for the hard skill. That means for you to use algorithm or whatnot. But then you have this problem in terms of the soft skills. Similar to data science, it is about solving complex problems using data-driven approach in different domains. So you have to cultivate your problem-solving skills by tackling challenging problems, and you have to breaking down into a manageable components and applying these techniques and to derive the insight that is relevant to that particular area.
Wow. Okay. That was actually a very good explanation, Doctor, about what kind of um, languages or any kind of tools that students should prioritize in this data-driven role, and how to like understand the algorithm, and to explore more about this topic. Um, Actually, Madam, there's a question from YouTube, I believe, and it's quite a long questions. So the questions is, as a senior researcher, I believe you have contact with various types of new staff. Some continuously pursue their studies until they obtain their master's or PhD. Some resume their academic journey after gaining several years of work experience, and some may pursue further education as part-time students. In your opinion, what are the differences or strengths among these newcomers? Do you think that those with work experience may demonstrate better commitment? Do you get the question, Doctor?
Yes. Thank you for that question. That was actually a very good question, um, and that was also something that I was thinking during my early days of joining the labor market. Essentially, this decision for you to pursue for continuing study for graduate study ataupun doing some sort of any kind of training after your graduation, um, it, or even gaining a practical or working experience, that is actually no one size fits at all answer. It is depending on your own self. It is depending on your career aspiration, and both paths. Even both paths, even you straightly go for labor force working, or ataupun you go for any kind of continuing studies, right? It offers a unique benefit and challenges, and the choice is ultimately depending on your circumstances and your career goals, and even your personal preferences. So if I can share, I'm coming from middle income families. So and I'm the eldest in the family. So I have five siblings. So I have no choice. After graduation, I couldn't afford to get longer unemployment. So I started to looking into a permanent job during my internship. So for me, it is important for me to straightly go for labor market after graduation. That I started my career back in 2010. I started to think, oh, this is the time for me to pursue for masters, because I wanted to sharpen my skill set in terms of doing things and looking into cross field. That's why I'm doing those in philosophical of mathematics, and so that was genuinely because of my career needs, right? I'm doing masters, I'm doing PhD, basically genuinely because of my career needs. On one hand, pursuing postgraduate studies immediately after completing your degree, right? That could also allows you to dive deeper into your chosen field of study, and also can give you a specialized knowledge and skills and position. And this could also be benefit for those who are aiming for being an academician, or those who are looking into a very specific niche of field of study, or being data scientists and what sort. And and these are essentially not really requiring this kind of career essentially does not really requiring a huge amount of working experience, right? Um, and gaining practical work experience is also important before you're pursuing your postgraduate study. So it can give you a valuable insight into a real world problem or real world application on academic professions. So so yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there is no one size fits at all. So it depends on your uh, career aspiration, what you wanted to do and what you wanted to be. But as I mentioned earlier, it is very important for you to have the sort of plan for your career later, by ensuring that you are not working in the job that is requiring qualification that is lower than the qualification that you have, and to making sure that you have this kind of um, uh, setting in mind to have to get a meaningful salary for your starting salary. So people can say that employer can always claim that you are our graduates are demanding in when setting up their salaries, right? But
Yeah.
there are various companies out there who can offer you even for management trainees as much as 4,500 as starting pay. So don't see that the world is so small, and also you have to have the sort of bargaining power in order for you to gain a better or meaningful starting salary. Um, and this is very important lah, because our study have shown that if you started with this unfavorable outcomes, it will deteriorate your future prospects.
Wow. Okay. I hope those answer actually answered the viewers' questions. And yes, I agree with you with like sorting your planned career to ensure that you choose the right job to get a meaningful salary and such. So there's a question from a Facebook um, under the name of Muhammad Lezam Lehat. The question is, what are some practical strategies that students can use to develop the necessary skills for success in a data-driven environment? Please, Doctor.
So, like I mentioned earlier, if I like I mentioned earlier, you have to have this sort of curiosity of uh, looking into things, and have this ability to keep learning. Everyone have this ability to keep learning, but sometimes they just don't have time to do things. But it is important for you to stay curious and keep learning. And then we have this the term of long life learning, right? That means everything that you have learned now will not be applicable for next 5 to 10 years. So that's why it is important for you to keep learning and stay abreast in the labor market. So especially when we talk about this data driven or data science area, it is constantly evolving. So those who are studying computer science in 1970s wouldn't think that now what they have wouldn't think that what happens now can be happening now before they are graduating in 1970s, right? So you have to stay hungry for knowledge and embrace this lifelong learning as a fundamental and as a part of your career journey. And it is also important for you when you have, like I mentioned earlier, everyone can stay curious, can have this in mind to keep learning. But if after you graduation, then you can secure jobs, right? always find time to upskill yourself. Like I mentioned earlier, there are various ways of you doing this upskilling program online and free for some more, right? From Coursera and different few others online platform. And this is very important. Skill is very important. And another thing is network and mentorship. And this is also something that I see it is lacking in our context, right? So especially from those who are from middle class background ataupun from poor family, right? You lack of knowledge, network, and also lack of mentor, because your surroundings doesn't allow you to have that accessibility for this kind of network. So and then to put a note that 80% of our graduates, our local graduates in our local universities, are actually coming from low income families. So this is quite unfortunate for us. But then I just trying to emphasize here, the network is important, and it is also a key for success in any field. Nowadays, regardless if you are coming from any kind of family background, you can have network, right, through social media. I think the most easiest and the most useful platform is through LinkedIn, right? I don't mind to I have this LinkedIn account, and I don't know, maybe because of I venture into this issue related to employment, employability. I always talk about how to increase your employability. I always talk about the issue surrounding graduate employability, why our graduates cannot secure good jobs, why our graduate lack of sophisticated knowledge to keep up with this changing trends of our labor market. So I always get questions from my LinkedIn network, especially among the fresh graduates who are going to go for labor market and those who are looking for internship training. They ask me questions. If you don't mind, sir, I wanted to ask you about the future prospect of this one. So I'm really happy to contribute to this, and I even to the stage of giving my phone number to them if you wanted to get to have this one-to-one session with me to look into things, then I'm more than happy to do that. So there's some people who are like myself. I can devote my time to help these younger graduates, especially when they are clueless in terms of what they wanted to go for their future. And this is also something that we have strongly advocate in our various research work, that is in terms of mentorship and network for our graduate. It is very important for us to have this kind of thing. One of the question is, our universities have told us that they have this a very good relationship with industries, but we question whether this kind of industries or relationship with the industries is there the industries that who can provide job for our graduate. So that is another question, right? You can get a very good structure or framework of being collaborating with other industries. But then you have to make sure that these industries that you are collaborating with is the industries who can provide jobs, good jobs for the graduates. So our study in 2018 have shown that most of the um, uh, partners or collaborators who are giving their feedback to the universities on the skill set that they want, unfortunately, has not been someone who are employing our graduates. So this is quite important to note, like, in terms of what we should do moving forward. And if we put more emphasis on networking, right, and our graduate have this access to this network, so essentially it will also help to for them to get a good job after graduation later. I think I hope I answered that question.
Oh, I hope sure you do. You actually, I
Yeah.
think you do actually to help answer the questions. like how like the curiosity to look for into new things and keep on learning also can extend our knowledge on what we're like trying to pursue in our career path, especially in just now the data driven landscape. And after hearing you like to help younger graduates where they are clueless about their future, that was actually quite heartwarming. And I hope that some of the students here who want to pursue in their data driven landscape could possibly ask you questions later after this program too. And yes, I quite agree that networking is essential for everyone in to pursue on to their field or studies in their next future or career path. Right now, so moving on to our next questions. What is your perspective on whether students should pursue postgraduate studies immediately after finishing the undergraduate degree, or if they should gain practical work experience first? Additionally, could you elaborate on the factors that are important to consider when deciding whether to continue advancing one's degree or gaining more practical experience in the field? Please, Doctor.
I think this question is slightly similar with what our friend questioned just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the feedback is the same. There is no one size fits at all, but it is totally depending on one's choices, your career aspirations, and also what you wanted to be and what you wanted to do. But again, if you decided to go for to pursue for postgraduate study, it is good, but you have to make sure that what your aspiration after you wanted to do after you are doing your postgraduate studies. So, for example, many people or many students deciding to pursue their postgraduate studies is because to escape for unemployment without knowing the prospect of um, the prospect of field that they will be undergoing for their postgraduate studies. So this is quite sad if it is happen in our especially among our postgraduate, because our postgraduate should be someone who are mature enough to have thinking on things, right? Because if they feel that postgraduate studies is for them to escape for unemployment, and then after they are finish their masters or PhD, then if they didn't get employed, do they wanted to again pursue for another level of studies? Tak kan? So it is very important for you to know what is your career aspiration. So this is where I feel that it's important for you to have mentor. It's important for you to have network, and the country is also lacking in terms of guiding our graduates in terms of um, guiding them on the right career path after graduation. So this is also important. And even if you directly decided from finishing your degree, and then directly decided to go for um, labor market, so it is also important for you to consider what is your aspiration afterwards. So it's not just for you to say that, oh, after graduate I just wanted to go work. So you don't care about the kind of job that you wanted to do. So career plan is very important. And then it is nothing wrong with you that directly working after studying or pursuing for postgraduate, but it's important for you to know what is your career aspiration, what is the aspect that you wanted to go 5 years or 10 years down the road. So that is very important. And if I can share based on my personal experience, um, those who are mostly those who are decided those of my circle who are decided to go for postgraduate studies, they are having huge opportunities to be an academician. So but you have to, again, if you are now working or dealing with data science, right? Data numbers. You can churn numbers from any statistic from Department of Statistics, from graduate texture study also have this report, right? You can churn into the numbers and look into the landscape of our higher education in Malaysia. So we only requiring about 15 to 20,000 academician in a year, while at the same time we have 200,000 graduates in every year. So you just imagine that you have to have that sort of in mind. Yes, you can be an academician, but then the job is very competitive for you. The opportunity is very competitive for you, right? So I'm not saying that it is wrong, but having a very specific plan for your career is very important, right?
Yes.
And then, yeah,
Uh, um, so about the question just now, yes, I quite believe that for the working experience is really important, by working in the right company, which that the company apply the right technique or foundation. Yes, it's really important for us to search for a company that actually provide us what we want for our career future. And yes, of course, the right job. And yes, career plan is really important
and
because
if I may add, Danish, in terms of
yeah,
if you decided to pursue for practical experience, right?
yeah,
Some industries requirement also required, some industry also required practical experience or working experience.
mm-hmm.
So some industries can prioritize practical experience and professional certification. So it depends. If you wanted to go for, like myself, if you want to go for being data science or maybe a policy driven analysis, so it is important to for you to have at least master degree in specific area. So you have to have that specific area. So you need to go for masters with a few years of experience, because you need to from this experience you have to have your own field in order for you to pursue for your masters. Then that will be useful for your industry requirement or your work requirement. And also in terms of the personal development, so this is where I mentioned earlier a few times, in terms of you have to have a career plan, a clear career plan. So it should reflect your strength, your weakness, your interests, your preferences. So you have to consider whether each option, whether you wanted to go for postgraduate or having first practical work experience first, that can contribute to your personal and professional growth. And at the end of the day, it can give a fulfillment for your for the job that we are doing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, doctor, for the explanation. Also, there's a question that I would like to ask from someone. What if someone in the field or other than computer science, mathematics, or statistics, do you think anyone can be in this data driven field? And what would be their challenges or good thing about this?
Yeah. I think this question also same as what I have responded before on the second question
Yeah.
from the floor. Yes, it is quite a challenge for you if you are not someone with a diverse background, with a specific background in computer science or in data analytics,
Mhm.
to venture into this data-driven punya area. But again, like I mentioned, if you are even if you are from computer science student, you still have this challenge in terms of looking into the area that you wanted to pursue. You can go for AI. You have this sort of skill set in data science, in algorithm and whatnot. But then the challenge for you is you have to have a good understanding on articulate to articulate things, especially in your area, right? In the different area that you are venturing in. So this is also Same goes to those who are from different backgrounds. Say, like for example, I'm from philosophical studies. So how can I venture into this data driven? So I have to equip myself with the various kinds of skill set on understanding or utilizing algorithm, use the software, specific software or whatnot. And again, so the good thing is you have this uh, the main aspect that is in philosophical area, but you have to sharpen yourself in terms of venturing into other skill set of understanding or using the software and whatnot. And I think if you ask me, the challenge, yes, it is challenge, but challenge is just challenge. There's the solution for challenge, but for you to understand that the opportunity is there, even though you are from different background, the opportunity for you is there. And the most important thing is you have to have this thinking in mind is where you need to uh, sharpen your skill set after graduation. You cannot just relying on what we have learned in the universities. So like I precisely mentioned before, universities' role is just to provide you a fundamental knowledge, skill set for you to know things. But for you to be able to do things is where you gain from your experience after your graduation.
Wow. Okay. I hope that actually answers the questions. Um, so yes, I do actually understand the whole concept of the challenges when trying to pursue in this data-driven landscape where you actually need a different kind of skill sets. And I hope that the viewers or the audiences actually understands that it is not easy as it seems to pursue in data-driven landscape, where you need like a different kind of background, just not relying on the same what do you call it, a background, which if you are like a computer science students you need to um, add more career plans.
Yes,
um
it is not easy, but the opportunity is there.
yeah.
The opportunity is there for you, but you have to take the challenge in the sense that having this in mind of doing more in terms of upskilling yourself. Yeah.
Okay, doctor. So there's another questions in regards of overqualification. In one of your appearance in Awani, can you share the situation in our country?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Good question. That means you you haven't had time to go through my interview. Okay, so that
Yeah.
was actually a piece of paper on its own. So we are looking into the issue of overqualification among our fresh graduates. So the issue is alarming, where we see that after graduation, within 6 months to 12 months after your graduation, then you can secure jobs, right? So the jobs that you are getting was not necessarily the job that is equivalent or requiring your degree. So the data have shown that 45, I think around 47% of our graduates within 1 year after graduation can secure jobs. But the kind of job they are doing was actually jobs that requiring a low level of qualification. So, for example, taking you are having a diploma in quantitative science, but the kind of job that you are getting after graduation only requiring a certificate level. So this is what we call as underemployment. I mean, we are underutilizing our graduates. And then when we look into this, right, the issue of underqualification ni is more emphasis or is more prominent, especially among those who are disadvantaged. And like I mentioned earlier, those who are majority of our graduates are actually from disadvantaged family, right? From low income family. So this is actually timely for us to look into the issue of overqualification. Yes, we can employers or everyone can say that our graduate ni tak cukup pengalaman lah, you don't have the right kind of skill set that what labor market can provide, or what labor market is expecting. But I think the most important aspect to look into is how how do we train our graduates um, in terms of the skill set for them in looking into jobs. It's not just the skill set for them to do the jobs. It's also the skill set for them to look into the job. So we cannot relying on the thing on the perception that, oh, after graduation I just need work, and after that I can berhenti and I can look at another good jobs. So the case is not like that for our context. So if you start with wrong starting point, so it will compounding, and you can lose about 30% of your income prospects in future. So that is very important point. And then next is when we talk about underemployment, we also look into the kind of job that labor market producing for our graduates. So yes, indeed, we are not producing good numbers of quality jobs in Malaysia, in the sense that the high skill job is not that growing as fast as the total number of graduate outputs that we're producing every year. So this is quite sad. But then I think the crucial aspect again, we cannot just depending on that point, right? So we know that okay, kerja tak cukup, but then our graduates should be equipped with this strong character in terms of looking into a very good prospects of job. So we cannot anymore rely on, okay, aku nak dapat kerja saja, nanti lepas 2 tahun ke dah ada experience, I can berhenti, then I can cari for other job to gain for money. Yes, maybe with 2 years of experience, you akan dapat, then if you resign, then you can get more, a better job with better pay, but then the kind of pay that you will be getting will not be equivalent if you are starting with the right starting pay and the right position of the job. So that is basically the gist of the discussion during my interview with Awani last time.
Well, during the Awani discussion, I actually watched a few of your interviews, just because I want to do a research background. So, for another question, which is like a kind of a closure questions, by reflecting on our discussion today, what do you believe are the most crucial takeaways or key insights that students should remember as they navigate their career paths in the data driven industry?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think we can conclude that this today's session as a reflection, right? There are a few key insights that I can share um, for you to navigate your career in the data-driven industry. So first, as I repeatedly mentioned, it's important for you to have this in mind: the continuous learning and adaptation. So you also need to remember this data driven industry is characterized by a very rapid advancement and evolving trends of the technology, and you should adopt a mindset of this continuous learning and adaptation to make yourself being stay updated with the latest tools, updated with the latest technologies and also methodologies. And you have to embrace the opportunities for professional development. So you need to participate in a certification program that I mentioned, not just those who are paid scheme. You can also can go for so many free online certification to upskill yourself. And it's also important for you to seek out hands-on experience. But remember, the hands-on experience must be a quality hands-on experience to enhance your skill set and to remain relevant in this area. And second thing is the foundational of skills. So like I mentioned, universities will provide you the basic or the foundational things or the foundational knowledge of your area, your specific area, and it is important for you to have this technological proficiency. It is important. So you cannot underestimate the importance of also the foundational skill that you have studied during your university's time, and also you cannot underestimate the importance of having this critical thinking, problem solving, or having this kind of analytical thinking. And also this can serve as a bedrock of your success in data driven roles. And like I mentioned, practical experience is important. um, you have to utilize your internship to the max, the value of your internship to the max. So make sure that you are looking into the company, a very good quality of the companies. Most important, if you can, is lagi bagus if you can get companies yang have a very specific framework for their internship, not just doing photocopying things, doing coffee and whatnot. So this can enhance your skill set and also can provide you more in industry practices, and also you can at the end of the day it can increase the chances for you to get jobs with a quality of jobs. And again, you have to have this. You have to consider specializing in a specific domain or requiring some niche expertise within the data-driven industry. So, for example, like myself, I go for data-driven industry, but then I have this specific niche into looking into uh, uh, utilizing data for policy development. So that is very important for me. So that's why I keep on learning, I keep on upskilling myself to keep up with the various software or uh, the various development of data-driven industry in this area. And also, if I can share in terms of diversity and collaboration, it is also important for you to embrace the diversity and collaboration. Personal network is important. A mentorship is important. It's important for you to have some mentor in your area, and working collaboratively with the teams that is interdisciplinary to enhance your creativity, innovation, and problem solving capability. And I think last but not least is in terms of lifelong learning and adaptation. So it's important for you to pursue for upskilling, but it's also important for you to go for a quality of upskilling program that is related to your career aspiration, and also continuously seeking out new challenges, opportunities, and experiences. Stay in contact with those who are your seniors, stay in contact with your lecturers to know what are the current development of your area.
Wow, okay, that was a very good explanations about how to like the crucial takeaways and what like students should remember to navigate their path. So doctor, I have there's a questions from YouTube and under the name of Mira Hadira. The question is many SPM graduates or diploma students nowadays are not considering further education because they believe that working as a delivery riders like Grab or becoming a YouTuber can earn them more money. What is your opinion about this question?
So just to set the context of this answer, right? I think last few months there was a news mentioning about 500,000 of our uh, post SPM students who are not going for any kind of education, who are not pursuing any kind of higher education. So this is also something posed the question in terms of what are actually the aspiration of our younger ones. So would they see that the current development of raising YouTubers or current development of e-hailing services that can provide more convincing income for them, then which makes them feel that, oh, higher education is no longer important. But for me personally, yes, indeed, higher education is still important. But again, you cannot blame higher education um, if you are not, if you cannot secure a good job, you cannot blame your higher education because there is a multiple aspect that we need to consider when it comes into the issue of employability, when it comes to the issue of labor market landscape, right? You have to consider the economics perspective, you have to consider the the recession sometimes, and also you need to also look into your own aspiration itself. So there's no harm for you to pursue, to go for this kind of gig jobs, but like I mentioned earlier, it is important for you to make sure the kind of job that you are pursuing is the quality kind of job. So, for example, if you don't decide to go for higher education and you decided to go for grad because you feel that, because that's the news, right? Those who are doing grad can earn about 6,000 a month. So why should I go for higher education? While if you start your salary, if you graduating, then you can start your salary with 2,000 ringgit. So I can still earn better. But here it is. Here is the key. If you start your job as a Grab riders, right, with 6,000 salary, um, how much time that you would require for you to get this 6,000 ringgit? It almost 24 hours. So it is important. It is impossible for human being like us to work 22, 23 hours a day just to get 6,000 ringgit, right? So,
Yes.
so this is the sort of thinking that I think it is important for us to um, set the mindset into our younger ones. Yes, it is no harm for you to go for this kind of gig jobs and whatnot, but just make sure that the kind of job that you are going to is the job that is meaningful for you, can provide better outcome and good career prospect for you. And even though if you want to go for YouTubers, right? Even we see that there is the rising aspiration of our people, or of our young people, wanting to go for these YouTubers, influencer, and what sort. But if you look into these numbers, how many of them are actually successful in the true manner, right? Most of them are actually do for the sake of uh, promotion, do for the sake of showing to people that they are actually having this, but essentially they are not in that position, right? So for example, last time ada case yang sewa kapal terbang tu kan. So they do this. Oh, you can join me. You put some amount of money, then yeah, you can be rich like me. So dia naik kapal terbang. So but at the end of the day, the people are smart. So people can see that, oh, that is actually sewa kan. Yeah, it's something yang they rent just for their marketing purposes. So this kind of thing that you have to have in mind, right? And then I think it is also important, like in policy prescription, for us to put into perspective that we need to get our young people um, uh, to have the sense of apa tu, responsibilities, to see things, to see things as in the factual rather than is and the subjective aspect. So yeah, I think that is my feedback to that. And it is also, if there's continuing trend for this, is quite sad lah, because we are now in the demographic dividend punya phase, where we should actually utilizing our young people to the max, so that the benefit that we gain from our young people can be utilized in the next 20-30 years, when the country are actually highly dependent for older age. So kalau you kerja dekat pekerjaan yang not giving a meaningful sense for you, meaningful career progression for you, so you cannot contribute that to the nation. And what will be happening to the country for the next 20 and 30 years, when we are actually heavily depending on we are actually need to support more older people in future. So that will be a challenge for us later.
All right. Uh, Thank you, Doctor. That was a very good explanation, and I hope that that actually answers the questions. Um, yes, I believe it was a pleasure having a talk with you, Doctor. And I believe our talks have now come to an end. But before we ending our program, we will have a Q&A session after this. Before we actually starting our Q&A session, I would like to say a few words that we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Amirul Rafiq for delivering an enlightening presentation. The insights shared by Dr. Rafiq have left a lasting impression on us and provided valuable food for thought. We would like to take a moment to acknowledge Dr. Rafiq's contribution by giving a round of applause. All right, so now moving on to our next agenda, it is Q&A sessions, and we have a questions from Atira Isa, which is from YouTube. The question is, I always heard, why do you need to study until PhD? Nowadays, there are many workplaces that do not need such students because it will be difficult to pay them later. And what is your opinion about this statement, Doctor?
Yeah, that is a very good question. Um, that was also something that came across to my mind when I decided to when I came to the stage that I wanted to decide whether or not I should pursue for PhD. Yes, not all industries requiring PhD, and that will be ties back with our earlier discussion on whether or not for you to go for postgraduate studies. So it is no one size fits at all for all, and then it totally depending on your career aspirations. So that is where the importance of career guidance, right? So that we are lacking in our countries, especially. So for you, most of graduates are actually doing postgraduate studies because for them think they are thinking that they wanted to escape for unemployment. So, oh aku tak dapat kerja, baik aku belajar je. Nanti lepas belajar, then aku sambung belajar, dapat kerja lah kot. Then after master, still tak dapat kerja. And then you decided to further PhD pula because tak dapat kerja kan? Without having any kinds of thoughts in terms of what you wanted to do for this masters, for this degree later. Then after you habis PhD, then you tak dapat kerja juga. So are you still trying to pursue for second PhD ke macam mana? So that is where I shared previously the three cases, right? You can directly pursue for postgraduate studies or even PhD. You can go for experience first, and you can just venture to higher education or do some sort of upskilling program. But it is totally depending on your career aspiration. Like for example, for those who are from accounting students, after finishing their degree, they can do this ACCA, which can benefit them better for in terms of their career prospect. So they go for ACCA. Then after ACCA, they can get better job. So this is something that I think very important for our graduates to have again a mentor, and also to have a sort of in mind your career plan. So you have to have this clear career plans. So just to share with you the sad story of our labor market. Even though if you have a master's degree or PhD degree, only especially among those who are having a master's degree, right? Only 50% of you can secure salary more than 3,000 after you graduate from your masters and securing your job. Then the another 50% would secure less than 3,000 salary. Is that the kind of salary that you are aiming for? But if you straightly go for labor market or going to work after graduation, after finishing your degree, you already have 3 years of experience as compared to those who are pursuing their masters, right? And then in these 3 years, you can actually go for jump to another, do a job, do the job hope. Then you can jump into two other companies, and then it can give you a better salary. In fact, you can get a better salary as compared to those who are directly going for master's degree. Even if you do a PhD, only 60% of you can secure a salary more than 3,000. About 40% still securing salary about less than 3,000 ringgit. So the reality is so bitter, right? PhD will not always give you better outcomes, but it is important for you to know that it is important for you to know the fact, right? The landscape of the labor market. So that I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to pursue for PhD because you wanted to be an academician, you have to be realistic. You look into the tabulation, the data that KPT has provided. How many academician that we need in a particular year, or even how many tutor that we need in every year. And then itu tak, kita tak discuss lagi about the career progression, the career progression in the sense that how many years for you can progress from one position to another position. So that is another thing. So it is important for you to set the right footings when you graduate later.
Wow, okay. I hope that actually answered your question, Atira Isa. So there's another question from YouTube too, and it's quite the personal questions from Najib Razak. How can a person pursue new knowledge or skills while juggling the demands of their personal, professional, and family responsibilities? Yes.
Okay. In fact, your when you decided to go to look into new knowledge, right? At the same time, you are juggling with family responsibility, your job. I think that is also important for you. Like I mentioned earlier, we have to have a strong bargaining power in order for us to be able to have a strong plan for our career. So yes, when you work, that means the company owns you at least 8 to 10 hours a day, right? So it makes it impossible for you to go for any kinds of training or looking into any kind of new knowledge or upskilling programs. But if you do have a strong bargaining power with the organization, you can essentially utilize that to benefit yourself, right? So like I faced this during my early days during when I started my career back in 2010. I persistently mentioned to my immediate boss that I need to go for training because I need to sharpen my skill set into this. Otherwise, I cannot deliver. So, and then of course, sometimes it will eat your personal time, the time with your families and what sort. But you cannot run away from having this thinking of uh, doing more upskilling program for yourself. It is for your own benefit, not for the company's benefit, right? Companies at the end of the day, even though you have various years of experience, they will look into your credential, your the skill set that you have, the certification that you have, the extra certification that you have. So I'm not saying that you should neglect or you should discount for your uh, family responsibilities in regards for the sake of your career, but you have to have this sort of adjustment to make sure that you gain both, right, professionally, and also you gain uh, family. You can take care of your family responsibilities as well.
Well, I guess if there actually answer the questions for Najib Razak, and I hope you have a good time. If there are no further inquiries, as a closure for our Q&A today, I would like to ask a last final questions. What emerging trends or developments do you foresee shaping the landscape of data-driven careers? And how can students best prepare themselves to thrive in this evolving environment?
Um, I think as we look into the future of data-driven careers, right, there's several trends and development that can shape into the landscape of this industry. So I think students or graduates should looking into preparing themselves by staying update or abreast with the trends and then what are the necessary skills and knowledge that you need to adapt with the challenges and opportunities um, coming in front. So I think first you can see in the perspective of the continued advancement of AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learnings. That these two will definitely significantly impact these data-driven careers. So AI and machine learning can become more sophisticated and progressive, and you as a student should focus on developing expertise and experience in this area. You can learn more on deep learning, natural language processing, and computer vision. So and you have to leverage this to leverage this knowledge to the power of AI to extract useful insight from it. And of course, the big data and analytics. So with the growth of our of data in diverse sources and the social media, you can actually use information from social media, the big data from social media, to derive on um, um, certain policy direction or interesting findings. So you can also look into these IoT devices and sensors, and you can have the ability to manage and analyze the this big data. And so like previously, like right, people kata big data is big data is yeah is now is the big data era, big data. Then last 2 years, 2 3 years, now people talking about AI. Kita tak tahu lagi in front of us apa lagi. So it is important for you to still to stay abreast with what is the landscape of our um, uh, labor market landscape, and you should familiarize yourself with big data technologies. We have a few, right, analytical tools that utilizing this big data macam Hadoop, right, Spark, NoSQL database. So you have to learn this. So like I mentioned, those who are from especially those who are from computer science background, you are benefit from this. You already know the basic of language of using this. Can you have this basic skill set? But by enhancing your understanding into these analytical tools, it can develop your skills later and can be useful for your future career prospect. And I another thing is in terms of ethic and responsible AI. So we know that this data-driven technology continue to um, influence every aspect of our life, right, in the society. So the importance of ethics and responsible AI can be increasingly important. So you should prioritize learning about ethical considerations related to data privacy, bias mitigation, and algorithmic transparency. So we in KRI, we are actually venturing this issue, looking into a responsible AI and trying to come up with a sort of framework on the use of AI in terms of the ethics and responsible AI. We know that we have at the same time we know that at the image of the data, right? We need to also protect our right as a data owner. So embracing this ethical principle is important because we need to make sure that we are practicing the responsible AI. So you can contribute to this by building trust and integrity in the data-driven industry and help to address the challenges happens in the society. So and last but not least, I mentioned juga earlier in terms of interdisciplinary collaboration. So for you, for example, you have expertise in computer science, you know all this kind of language, so you can collaborate with other disciplines such as in healthcare. Healthcare are actually showing growing interest in application of AI and big data, finance and environment science. So this will create yourself of being adjust into new opportunities in the labor market. And again, continuous learning and adaptation is important for you to put that in mind. You cannot run away from continuously learning about things. Things that you have learned today will deteriorate, will not be more relevant in the next 5 to 10 years. So you have to have that sort in mind. Um, and just remember that you have to stay curious and adaptable to up to a new ideas, right? So this data driven industry provide a huge opportunity for you, like I mentioned. um, there's challenges, but the challenge cannot be something that can hinder you from being a part of this data driven industries workers.
Oh, okay. Thank you for answering the questions, Doctor. There's also another questions actually from Atira Isa, and it's from YouTube. It's quite the personal questions. The question is: choose a course that has many job opportunities, or choose a course that we are interested in, and which one is better?
This is interesting. Actually, I've been thinking about to discuss this, tapi I lupa. So thank you for the question, Atira. This is a very good question. So before we delve into this question, right, to set the context, I hope you know about this critical occupation list by the Talent Corp. We also continuously advocate for this report. So this critical occupation list provides you the list of jobs that are critical in a particular year. So for example, if the report is in 2002, there is a critical job listed in the report 2022 for the 2021 critical job. So I think at least for you, when there is a time for you to decide which course that you should take in future, you should also have this some guides in mind in terms of looking into what sort of courses that you feel that you, to ensure that you are not being in the course that is not provide you job in future, right? So so this is part of the data that you can look into. So this 50 critical occupation list can be a guideline for you to choose your prospective course in your higher education. Of course, when we talk about whether or not to choose course based on your interest or based on your based on the demand. So it should become coming hand in hand, and also depending on your career aspiration as well. Of course, if there's a career demand as a surgeon, I cannot be a surgeon, right? Because my grade for my grade for SPM that cannot allow me to be part of these surgeon families, right? So it should be so for example, if I decided to take a statistic, so I see that the among the 50 critical jobs in 2020 was actually in healthcare industry as a data science. So that is the opportunity for me to do degree in statistics And then at the end of the day, I can venture into the healthcare industry in looking in of being this statistician or data scientist in this healthcare industry. So that is the sort of thinking that I hope our graduates can have in mind. It's not just for you to blindly choose the course that you feel it can provide you a jobs. Even the doctors and sekarang pun is not something dan yang viable options, right, for you. There's a case last 2 years, right? Being a doctor, so you are trapped into apa ni, non-permanent position. So it's not that something yang you rasa tak perlu. It's important for you to be equipped with the right kind of information and data, then for you to make a good decision for your career in future.
Well, I hope actually that actually answers Atira Isa, not just Atira, but also to all the students that have been thinking the same kind of questions. And I would like to say, if there are no further inquiries, thank you for the insightful and informative answers from you, Doctor. And I believe that we all learned a lot and gained valuable insights from these sessions. Also, a quick note for all the attendees to fill in the attendance form, which also includes the evaluation form that has been given by the organizers in the form of a link and QR code that will appear on the screen after this. Your feedback is invaluable to us as we strive to improve future events. Thank you again, Dr. Amir Rafiq. On behalf of all of us, we want to express our gratitude for sharing your expertise with us and contributing to the success of this program. We apologize for any issues on our end, and it has been a pleasure to be with you all today. May we have the opportunity to meet again in the future event. Thank you and Assalamu alaikum.